Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Randy, thank you for that fervent prayer. Before we call the meeting to order, somehow I always remiss to say this, but I know we have a lot of first-timers in here, and I'd like to welcome you here. You're at home, so feel comfortable in the chambers. This is your chambers. So, and we have an agenda, and I'd like to mention that we have something different on our agenda tonight, and that it will be a standard piece on our agenda. Where am I here? Right after public comment, the city manager, and supported by some of most of the council members up here, we have added item F, and that's the city manager's report and comments. And so under that, he will be bringing you updates, administrative report, so more transparency and more connection with you, so you can understand a whole lot of other things that we're doing. So with that, we will proceed. You may call the roll.
Councilmember Archibald? Here. Councilmember Haremza?
Here.
Councilmember Lamb?
Here.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Here.
Councilmember Payton?
Here.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Here.
Mayor Ashford?
Present. Minutes before you, a regular city council meeting on August 11th. Is there a motion? So moved. Moved by support Mayor Pro Tem Archibald and supported by Councilmember Lamb. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none. The minutes are carried. Presentations. You can call the roll on that.
Oh, do you want me to? Okay. Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Presentations.
Representatives from the Blue Water Recovery and Outreach Center will provide an update.
Good evening.
Thank you, council members. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you, Mayor Ashford, James Freed, and council for allowing us the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Patrick Patterson, and I serve as Executive Director of BW Rock, the Blue Water Recovery and Outreach Center. BW Rock is a grassroots, community-led organization found on lived experience and built to fill the gaps in addiction recovery services here in St. Clair County. We are not a clinic. We are not a treatment center. We are something just as essential, a bridge between crisis and stability, between isolation and community, between survival and a meaningful life in recovery. Every day we open our doors to people who are fighting for a second chance, and we walk with them. We offer them support groups, recovery coaching, transportation, and hope, without judgment and without barriers. Our staff and volunteers, who I know personally walk on this journey with them, and that's what makes our work so powerful, and I want to thank you for being here tonight, our staff, volunteers, and board chair. It is truly an honor to speak with you, but today, I do so with a heavy heart. Over the weekend, we lost a staff member who relapsed and passed away. As we grieve and mourn this tragic loss, may it also reignite our passion to carry forward our mission, to help others, to never take for granted how delicate and urgent this work really is. No one is immune. His passing is a painful reminder of exactly why we do what we do. Addiction does not rest, and neither can we. Every single person who walks through our doors matters deeply. And even in our grief, we continue to show up, to fight for recovery, for Eric, and for everyone still out there struggling. We believe that recovery is not just possible, but it happens. And here today, we're going to share what some real numbers and real stories look like year to date. This slide shows a snapshot of BW Rock's impact in 2025. So far through August, we've hosted 896 support groups, serving 9,600 participants this year alone. Note that these can be duplicate if the same individual attends multiple support groups. Just last week, we had approximately 400 people attend our groups or our facility. We also answered more than 3,200 phone calls showing that recovery support is in constant demand. We've transported 3,600 individuals to treatment or recovery services, a critical need in St. Clair County. And since our founding, we've recovery coached over 1,200 individuals providing consistent one-on-one support. We measure success in both sobriety and overall quality of life. Nearly 50% of our participants report 90 days of sobriety and 51% report having improved recovery capital, which includes things like housing stability, relationships, employment, and health. These metrics show that recovery is not only possible, but it happens. Of the 1,200 people that we've coached, 49% came in from alcohol, 19% came in from meth, 15% from opioids. These numbers reflect the real challenges in our region and underscore the importance of funding, access, and community support. At BW Rock, we believe recovery strengthens not only individuals, but families, neighborhoods, and our entire community. As we grow, we look forward to deeper collaboration with city leadership and to ensure every resident has access to the appropriate recovery resources, transportation, and long-term support. And now we're going to watch a short video clip.
Rock has given me self-confidence to do things that I normally wouldn't do. I get to meet awesome people, and it's changed my life dramatically.
BW Rock has changed my life.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. I come here for Life Recovery Bible Study and family dinner every week.
BW Rock has supported me in my recovery. I am currently seeing a peer coach, and they're going to help me try to get my driver's license back.
Love Blue Water Recovery Outreach Center, and I come here to volunteer in my community, help to give back, and I stay sober and clean. I stay busy and meet new clean and sober friends. So
it's given me a place to come and hang out with people that work here. I made friends here. They've helped me with work boots for work, gift certificate. They've taken me to and from my surgery appointments.
Hi, my name is Huron, and I work for the BW Rock Transportation Department. I transport 4 to 20 people per night, and on weekends, upwards of 30 people a day.
My name's Robin. I come here for family dinner and NA meetings, and I like it so much I used to walk here every day.
Hi, I'm Jimmy. I work for BW Rock's Transportation Department, and I transport about 10 people a week to rehab facilities in Region 10.
Hi, I'm Sadira. I'm with B-Rock. I come here for AA meetings.
My name is Lamar. I'm a grateful recovering addict. BW Rock has done for me, gave me opportunities to help other people with transportation, taking them to recovery places, and plus staying focused on my recovery. I go to the recovery Bible study, and that's been a blessing.
My name is Michael. I use BW ROC for transportation, and Eric is my recovery coach, and he has helped me stay in recovery, and by using the program, I got a better job.
BW Rock has given me stability and a good chance to change my life around.
Hi, my name's Jessica. I'm a volunteer here at B-Rock. I also attend Thursday night Life Recovery Bible and Monday night family dinners.
BW Rock gave me a place to go when it was raining, gave me a meeting to keep me sober, and some free coffee to keep me warm.
BW Rock has given me family, friends, and some purpose in my life today.
Hi, I'm Patrick Patterson, Executive Director of BW Rock. If you believe in these stories, if you believe in the many touch points we have in our community, if you believe in hope, second chances, and a better tomorrow, we're asking you to believe in us and support BW Rock today. Thank you.
At BW Rock, we made it our mission to provide the face and voice of recovery and reduce stigma in our town. Those are the real faces and the real testimonies of recovery in Port Huron. Addiction doesn't care who you vote for or what camp you're in. It doesn't care what title you hold in life. It knows no boundaries. It destroys families. It destroys and steals your soul. But this Saturday, we bring the antidote. This Saturday, at Recovery Fest at Pine Grove Park, we gather as one community to push back the darkness with light and to come together as one body. In honor of Recovery Fest, this Wednesday, Representative Pavlov and I will stand in Lansing with our legislators to help pass a resolution which will officially declare September 13th, 2025, Michigan's National Day of Recovery. And when that day comes, we can hold our heads high knowing it began right here in Port Huron. Yesterday, a mother approached me and said, 4 years ago, you were the hope for my 21-year-old, and now I see the sobriety on his face. We are not stats. We are not stereotypes. We are the faces behind this disease. We are the people with lived experience. We are BW Rock. Thank you for your time, and thank you for letting us share tonight.
And thank you, Patrick. I wonder if you just would oblige me. Patrick, you mentioned that someone passed away this weekend. Mm-hmm. If we could just stand for a moment of silence for him. Thank you. And you have our condolences and all of the prayers that we could send out to you.
We are resilient, let that be known, and that was what the recovery community will be tested with.
Yeah.
We are a family, we are a very tight-knit staff, and we're a tight-knit community, and this is what happens. It's the first time it's happened with our staff member since 2017, but it does occur, and we will persevere. Thank you.
And we're with you. We're part of that extended family, and that's why we support you, maybe with dollars, but we support you with our hearts.
I know you do.
We feel that.
And we thank you.
And I'm always over there, so, he's been taken care of. Thank you. Our next presentation.
City Manager James Freed will provide an update on the Harvey Reinvestment Center.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Pardon me, I've been sick the last couple of weeks. I just want to say before we get started, of all the things, I've been doing this now for 18 years. We've done a lot of projects, done a lot of big things we've been a part of. One of the proudest work I've ever been a part of is the collaboration with BW Rock. Tonight was not just random to have them here. I wanted them to come and present you with an update as we've received more opioid settlement funding, which I'll be bringing you at the next council meeting, a proposal to allocate some of that to BW Rock as well, which is, again, the big pharma settlement for the opioid crisis to fund programs just such as BW Rock. They're doing a fantastic job. For folks who don't know, giving money to people is actually kind of difficult because there's compliance, accounting, and accountability. BW Rock has a remarkable governance structure. They have a remarkable finance and accounting and auditing process, so you know that the money you give them is actually going to where it belongs. So those of you in the community who are looking to make a donation to a worthy charity, BW Rock is vetted and they are worthy of your investment. I wanted to give a quick update on the Harvey Reinvestment Center, the community center in South Park. In December 2024, we signed a purchase agreement with the Port Huron Housing Commission to acquire the Reinvestment Center. HUD has to approve that transaction because the original funds to build the investment center came from HUD. And our purchase price is $600,000. That money will not leave the community. So as part of the purchase proposal that we sent to HUD, the Planning Commission has committed to take that $600,000 and put it into capital improvements to some of their housing units here in the city of Port Huron. So that money is not actually leaving the community or going back to HUD. It's going to go back to the Port Huron Housing Commission to be reinvested in housing developments and rehabs in Port Huron. We use ARPA funds to purchase the building. To date, we are still waiting HUD approval. There was some application stuff they wanted reworked, and this is going on typically like bureaucratic Washington does. It goes on for quite some time. I am hopeful that we will get this facility closed and this transaction closed out before the end of the year. Future city plans for the community center. First, I'm tired of waiting on HUD So I spoke with Jim Dewey, and we're going to develop an operational lease with the Housing Commission. Essentially, the city will cover the utilities until the sale is completed, so we can start using that facility now and get it available to the public. What we'll begin with is physical upgrades to the facility. The floors haven't been waxed in a decade. I swear they need wax. They're filthy floors. We need to wax the floors, paint the landscaping. We also want to install a keyless door swipe system. And that's important for the next bullet point, improve community access. That's a community center meant for the community, but the community has a real hard time, if even possible, of utilizing that center right now. It's kind of like a closed, locked door. Whether it's a funeral dinner, graduations, church activities, retirement parties, anniversary parties, whatever you would need a community room for, we want to make sure that the community has better access to that. And so by putting a key swipe system into that facility, it's a lot easier to assign a key code. You get in for the night, and you can be done with it, give your cleaning deposit, leave it when you're done. Very similar to how we do Palmer Park for those room rentals. I don't want to wait until next year. I want to start Parks and Recreation programming there this fall and winter. We believe that this winter, kids need to have dance classes and have rec programming, or seniors need to have activities, just like they do at Palmer Park. I'm tired of waiting. So I want to get that done this fall and winter to have programming in that facility. I also want to work with the Council on Aging to restart the senior meal prep program there. That is very successful at Palmer Park. It has been successful at other places in the community. By partnering with the Council on Aging, we can bring senior meals to that facility and to that area of the city. I think it's vitally important. But again, our number one focus is improve community access. If you talk to anyone in South Park right now, getting access to that facility is almost impossible. And I think that's very unfortunate and not the intent of the building, and we're going to correct that as soon as we get our lease signed, which I anticipate to have that at your next council meeting. This is the inside of the facility. It's really nice. This hallway takes you back to the main meeting room. The floors need wax. This is the kitchen. Now, if you remember, the city invested about $75,000 of ARPA funds into redoing that kitchen last year. So that kitchen is all brand new. These are specifically warming and cooling racks. You can serve hot meals and cold salads from the Council on Aging. So if they want to bring hot meals down and cold salads down, we have the facility to handle those senior meals. So we really want to make that happen. Right here in the front is a 10 by 10 administrative office. It's a very small office, but it has its own independent door access. We're going to create a satellite city office there. And we're going to have senior staff, the police chief, the city manager, the deputy city manager, neighborhood improvement authority, administrative staff, planning department staff, hold regular posted office hours in that building. So for folks who want to ask their chief of police questions, who want to ask their city manager questions, who want to come and talk to the planning department, there will be hours in which they can simply walk to that facility and meet us. We want to go to where our residents are. In the future, we hope to put drop boxes for city services, whether it's utilities payments or tax payment, maybe in future voter absentee drop box office locations. It's also going to be a flex space for community resources. We partner with a whole host of NGOs, non-governmental organizations, nonprofits, who do a lot of good work, who often need a flex space to hold some office hours to meet with clients. That facility will be available to them. Onward, we take public engagement and public input very seriously. Before we implemented the Neighborhood Improvement Authority, we did a significant amount of public engagement sessions. And there was one major issue in South Park, and that was lack of access to fresh meat and produce. It's a food desert. And so we've worked with grocery store developers, we've worked with grocery store owners on what it would take. And the biggest barrier to entry is the actual facility. Who's going to build a brand new grocery store, construct a grocery store in an unproven market? We believe that in the north end of that facility, there is an independent commercial space that we believe is big enough, and we have walked some experts through it. We believe it is big enough to run a small meat market and produce market with some other essential items there. We are currently in talks with local entrepreneurs and already business owners who are in this space and have family in this space about renting this facility and working with the Neighborhood Improvement Authority on outfitting that to be a mini grocery store with the essentials of meat and produce. That is the quickest barrier to entry. Would this be a forever home? No, of course not. But it would be a pilot program to prove the concept works, that this is a viable market for this space, and hopefully we build a bigger one onward. But that's what we're hoping for right now at the north end. The second part of the community engagement was the lack of a banking institution in that area. We have an unbanked area of the community. On the south end, there's a small commercial space here. I have walked through 3 different banking partners through that facility now on the possibility of putting a small satellite bank branch in there. Also possibly a credit union branch, so that folks can come and make their deposits, open up an account. I think there's something very, very valuable about children getting to walk into a bank as a kid and see how that process works, how to open an account, create a savings account. That's very important knowledge for a young person to see. And so we believe that this facility could be a launching pad to address 2 of the major challenges that were identified in the community engagement: banking and food desert. So that's what we're working on in the next 60 days. We hope to have that facility operational back up to the public by October, November, with programming it throughout the winter. And then in the summertime, we'll do more programming there as well. Any questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Manager Freed. Okay, now, this is a time we're going to move to our public comments. I'd like to read the following. If anyone in the audience wishes to address the City Council on any agenda item or any matter under the city's jurisdiction, now is the time to do so. You are allotted 1 4-minute opportunity to make your comments. Please begin your comments by stating your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, City Manager. I'd just like to run through some of the docket on tonight's program here for the citizens of Port Huron. First off, I'd like to cite out Resolution number 25, number 107. You know, we're talking about new housing for South Park and stuff, but I think it's kind of a misnomer to call that waterfront property. I know it's a boost to the downtown, to St. Clair, down in the south end of Port Huron, but it's sure not waterfront. My second question as it rise here tonight is, it's quite a problem that I see, was the resolution number 108. It's the child abuse and neglect allotment of $380,780. That's to pay for 2 employees for 16 months, according to the documents put in the thing here. Basically, where did this money come from? How many of these child people that get treated at this place of business, are they from the city of Port Huron? Are we doctoring people from outside the city of Port Huron? This child abuse, neglect? You know, there's a lot of unproven things. We got reports, and you can see posters all over the city of Port Huron and the county and stuff about child neglect. We have unsolved cases that are sitting in the trial over here at the county administration offices. And I don't see anybody doing anything for it. So I don't know if this works or not. But it's a lot of money, and I think that before we do it, we should have a little more opening to let people know what was there. On resolution number 109, I guess we're talking about the Port Huron Planning Department and our future city of Port Huron. I hope that the Crown Development that's going to be before the council eventually has given some easy thought to what they want to do to Port Huron. You know, I go up to the north end of town, Port Huron, quite frequently, and I used to walk up there when I could do it, but it's a valuable piece of property, but it needs dressing up. It needs a major dressing up. We got some people that want to do that. But speaking of things getting done in Port Huron, let's talk about our neighborhood over in Harrison District. They're dragging their feet on the thing with Lapeer Avenue. I was out there today. They're very busy, but they seem to, some days there's only 4 or 5 guys on this major job. We've had our second automobile accident where the vehicle was totaled. That was this morning and stuff. And everybody in the neighborhood or comes into town, they're looking for alternative routes to get beyond Lapeer Avenue. And they're not being told. All they're doing is saying, this is a construction zone, all businesses are open, but it's dangerous business. And we could see that by the 2 accidents that we've had there and the number of faulty stuff. The other thing is the attention to our streets. just being, Howard Street has become main avenue right now for people to get down Howard Street. Well, Howard Street, there's 2 manhole covers that protrude 2.5 inches above the surfaces of the canal. The first thing I talked about when you guys talked about purchasing a new snowplow is how long is this snowplow going to last if it hits 3 inches of steel? So I think we got to look at a lot of different things. And let me remind you, there's 27 pages in the packet for tonight's council meeting, and I think you should look at it. It talks about Craig Schlinkert and what I guess, let's see, it's called here Schlinkert Report and Accommodations by the City Attorney. I guess the one thing I went back to that kind of jarred my memory and stuff, so I looked at some stuff that's happened here in the past, and I visited 2018 and stuff, and I just wanted to thank them for...
Your time is up. Your time is up. Thank you so much.
Well, they should hear about the choreography with
Okay.
this.
Your time is up. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joe Pavlo, and I live at 350 Scott Road, Smith Creek, Michigan, and I am your representative in Lansing. And I'm here to speak about the Josh Conant bill that I'm writing. But before I do that, I just want to add a segue to what Patrick mentioned. Patrick mentioned that the resolution for September 13 is for recovery. I am also going to be writing a law for that so that September 13th will be a perpetual day of recovery from now on. We won't need to do this every year. As far as the Josh Conant bill is concerned, this has been a kind of a long, arduous process. And I'm learning a lot when you're dealing with agencies in the government. It takes a long time. First of all, we had to find an agency that would be willing to do the training for bouncers and for security staff in order to be able to protect people that they have to secure. And we found that in the Michigan Commission for Law Enforcement Standards. And then we found that they had to develop the training, so the training has been developed, and we've been waiting on the definition of some terms, and one of those terms is positional asphyxiation. I'm not sure what the other one is because I just learned this progress about 2 hours ago because we hadn't been making a lot of progress until today. We do have those definitions, and the bill is going to the technical writers. And the more perfect it is going to the technical writers, the faster the process. So as soon as that happens, which is Legislative Services Bureau, as soon as they come up with the final draft, then the bill will be ready to be introduced. Once it's introduced, it'll go to committee, and I will introduce it at committee and have people come and speak to the bill. We're not even sure which committee it will go to yet. It'll probably be Governmental Affairs. And when that happens, we'll probably be having some people come over and testify in committee, and then I will present the bill on the House floor, and we believe that it will be a bill that passes because it will be highly bipartisan, and we don't believe that there will be any votes against it, actually. So that's where I'm at. And we are making progress, and I hope the next time that I come up here, I'm able to announce that that is a bill and that training is available, and that that bill will save lives. And I really appreciate working with Josh Conant's mom, Sandy Schultz. I don't know, is Sandy here today?
No, I'm not.
Okay, she's not, but we do work closely together, and I appreciate her input very much. And so thank you for the time. I was up in Grant Township, and now I have to leave for another meeting, and I do have one at Marysville also, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for gracing us with your presence and all the work that you're doing for us and the people.
Yes, my pleasure.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Sonia Williams, and I live at 1016 7th Street, apartment 702, which before I lived out of township. And this was not my forum, because I was in the township. But now I live in the city. and I love the city of Port Huron. I was born and raised here. And to have people come and say this is for the community and not get with the community and not say anything, just like the reinvestment. The reinvestment is for the community. Okay, each time I'm putting fresh vegetables, well, they've been talking about putting a grocery store up for the last, I don't know how many years. What they do, build a General Dollar store. Okay, now the General Dollar store has fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, and all of this. Now you have an open office. Well, who's the office gonna be for? See, we don't need another Trump down in South Park. We need somebody that's gonna work for the people, by the people, for the people. Because you got to remember one thing. We voted every one of you in. Every last one of you. And some of you have your own agenda, which is not appreciated at all. And there's gonna be a lot of people speaking about it. You did this to the Reinvestment Center. But did you talk to the people of what they wanted? No, you went and did what you wanted to do, when you wanted to do it, and nobody knew it was done. But I don't see no community adversity here. None. Not one bit. So you want something done, there is a community. Before you couldn't get people down in South Park. Now you got everybody in South Park. You know, I bet, would you live in there? Would you live down in South Park? Would you buy a house or build a house in South Park? No, you would not. You couldn't get you down there. Because all you talking about that it was bad down there. But now you want to do this for South Park. You know, you've been talking, this is all overly for the underlay, as we say. You got an agenda for everything you say. You're not honest. I'm done. Drop the mic.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Slim on the clapping a bit here. I know it's energy, you want to express it, but just let's keep it up.
Eileen Tesh, Algonac. At the last Port Huron City Council meeting, I exposed that the current city manager, James Freed, had a side hustle, or should we say inside hustle. He's working for a company or owns the company. We're still looking into that, but he is listed as the lead executive recruiter for the recruiting firm called Pivot Group Municipal Services. I questioned the city council members last time. Is this a conflict of interest? Is this an ethics violation? I later learned that the city's HR department or some department sent out a ethics and conflict of interest questionnaire to all the employees. And question number 5 particularly asked city employees, do you have an approved outside employment in accordance with Administration Regulation 9-1? James Freed's answer, yes, Pivot Group, 4 to 6 hours a week after work, okay? I just contacted someone in Croswell, Michigan, his latest contract. The finance statement reported that he was paid, or the company was paid $10,000, okay? 4 to 6 hours, but he's listed as the main contact person for this company. Now, what was most revealing in this questionnaire, and that goes to all of you, the questionnaire says, regarding Administration Regulation 9-1, James Freed's inside gig or outside employment must be approved by the city. So I have now FOIA'd when this hearing occurred, because I know some of you don't know or didn't know, at least that's what I was informed, that he did have this outside employment. Here he is, a city manager making over $200,000 a year, hardworking taxpayers, and he's got this outside gig going on. Who is he loyal to? You heard the last woman talk about the South Side, okay? It's one controversy after another. It's businesses leaving, Dumtar paper gone, Port Huron paper gone, Grand Trunk Railroad gone, Southeastern Michigan, on his watch. And I'm here because he verbally attacked me in a public place and none of you ever said anything about it. So the people have spoken many times about what is really going on in the city. They're afraid to walk the streets, afraid to get robbed, poverty and crime is up, the population, the churches, the schools are spiraling downward, property taxes, utility costs, let's not even talk about the water bills, are through the roof. And James Freed's solution? Add 15 million to the budget. Oh, and let's not talk, and I will talk next time about the questionnaire for Mr. Mosherak and Mr. Freed paying Mr. Mosherak $12,000 for painting. You couldn't find any other painter? We got a controversial city manager and a city council member that was appointed. $12,000, that's a lot of dough between friends, let alone between people that are here to serve the public. So, and on a final note regarding Mr. Ken Harris and the resolution tonight with regards to the Child Abuse and Neglect Council, this $380,000, their current revenue, and yes, this goes to you, Ms. Pro Tem Archibald, the current revenue for Child Abuse and Neglect Council is over $750,000. The expenses are over $680,000, including your $100,000 that you're receiving for your income. And we never heard one word from you or your organization regarding the death, torture, and murder of that little Matthew Mason. So I don't know what you're doing either.
Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you.
My name is Cecily Shoulders, and I live at 3035 24th Street. I'm responding to the Times Herald article that appeared on August 27th about the new satellite office, which is set to open on September 15th in the Elder Harvey Reinvestment Center. We should not have had to read this article in the newspaper to find out what's going on in our own backyard. The Reinvestment Center has been in the South Park community since it opened in 1995 and has served the community since its beginning. It's more than It's more than just a building. It's a beacon in the community and was dedicated to provide services, programs, support, and activities for all ages and backgrounds. A consultant was hired to do a study. At least 3 community engagement sessions were held to gather information from the citizens. One thing that stood out from all of the engagement sessions were the continued use of the Reinvestment Center for the future. What happened to this plan? The citizens were made to think that the Reinvestment Center would always be available for programs and services to the community. Now we find out that you are going to use the Reinvestment Center for city offices. People from all over the city have benefited from the services and programs that this facility has provided over the years. Some of the services were a laundromat, Head Start program, daycare center, voting poll site, meeting rooms, rental space for events, COVID vaccination site, and recently, senior meals. Not having access to this building will eliminate the programs and services that the community benefited from. The Reinvestment Center has been an anchor in the community for years, and we do not want it taken from us. It should remain the Elder Harvey Reinvestment Center. It should be used for the purpose for which it was created and not for city offices. The city manager stated in the Times Herald article, the people's concerns are very important to us. The Elder Harvey Reinvestment Center is just as important to us, and we want it to remain that way.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Ashford, City Manager James Freed, and council members. I live in 1913 Lakewood Avenue in Port Huron, Michigan, and for the whole summer, we have had no street lights from 16th Street to Moak. I called the city, and they said that it was MDOT's job, not the city of Port Huron. Well, when I talked to the engineer that was working on the pole the other day, he said MDOT doesn't want to buy some type of board to put there for the lights to operate on. I don't know what type of board he's talking about, but there was a 14-year-old girl killed on Electric Avenue this summer because there was no street lights and the driver did not see the child crossing the street. So I want to know if the city can put a light up underneath MDOT so we can get our street lights on 16th Street. Thank you.
I actually work at the party store on the corner of Moak and Electric, and at night is dark, and all these people that want to walk down the street to the dollar store or to my store, they can't. It's dark. They can't see anything. You know, crime is going to happen. People are going to get hit. There's accidents there on the corner of Moak and Electric a lot of times, but there's no street lights for people from all the apartments up and down. The Lighthouse Estates, Village Manor, you know, all those apartments, those people walk because they don't have vehicles, and it's dark at like 8 o'clock at night. They can't see where they're walking down the street.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Angela Kelly, 11th Street, Mayor, City Manager, and Council. So this is, well, our city manager knows that streetlights are a favorite of mine. So I don't understand why when streetlights are out, the police aren't calling it in, our streets departments aren't calling it in. I've had to call in one-way signs that were flipped around, and they just said, well, when someone calls it in, we rely on the public. But I'm here today, and I threw a fit of social media again, because this is year 4 for schools starting again, and the crosswalks are not striped. You've put a 10.4, and thank you. We're very grateful in our neighborhood for the fire department, and it's really slowed down a lot of things that have happened in the neighborhood as far as crime and getting the right type of renters, I guess. But those crosswalks, the SCH, Ole Ole L is still not done. And it's not just our neighborhood schools, Woodrow Wilson, there's 2 schools back there. But Port Huron area school districts, they're not done throughout the city. So when we go back to about lighting, we also know that those crosswalks are very important. It's a calming measure for cars, and especially in our regular neighborhoods, in particular South Side, we have yield-to-yield, you know, speeders nonstop. If there was some visual on the ground or maybe some speed bumps like they do down in Detroit in the neighborhoods, all these traffic calming measures. But I did speak to, I've done all the hoops, and I'm going to the state of Michigan next, because what else can I do? You have American Rescue Dollar funds, put them in the streets. 10th Street was a nightmare this winter. We all know that our streets are terrible, but let's just start with our school zones and make sure that these kids are safe. Obviously, they have to walk to school. They can't be bused because they live too close. So let's look out. South Side, we're family strong. We're very proud over there. We got a lot of Germans and Polacks, and we're really happy about it. So if you could look at those bike lanes, the speeding, and again, the crosswalks, school zones, and school speed limit signs, because they're being ignored. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mr. Freed. First, I want to thank Barb Payton and the Ally Center for opening their doors with the recent open house and for hosting Blue Water Safe Horizons' newest fundraiser. I'm not a member of the Ally Center or the Blue Water Allies, but as a community member, I truly appreciate the positive work that they are doing there and the welcoming space that they have created. It's exciting to see the Ally Center become a hub where compassion and collaboration thrive. I also want to highlight that Blue Water Allies has an open table meeting coming up on September 17th at 5:30, and I hope to be there. And I truly hope to see some of the members of council there as well. These meetings will give, this meeting could give citizens and leaders a chance to sit down together and share ideas and have meaningful conversations in a safe and equal place as equals. The Alley Center is a special place, and it's more than a building. It's safe, it's welcoming, it's where people can feel heard. And if you haven't visited yet, which I know I saw Sherry and Anita there when I was there for the open house. But if you haven't visited yet, I suggest that you do. This last week, I also attended the Tires and Treads event at the fairgrounds, which was a fantastic gathering, and I met many supportive people there. While there, I was collecting signatures for my chicken petition. I'm sorry, I lost my space there. So for those who don't know, I'm collecting signatures for the local effort of letting Port Huron citizens raise backyard chickens, ducks, or quail for eggs and for companionship. For many families, this is about self-sustainability, fresh food, and responsibility. At the state level, House Bills 4049 and 4050, which Anita, you had mentioned last time, that's actually one of the things that inspired my whole campaign. That's kind of stalled in Lansing, so I'm hoping that if we can get this on our local ballot, that maybe that will give Lansing the push to finally act. I do have petitions with me tonight, so if anyone would like to talk about it or sign them after the meeting, I'll be outside. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council, James Freed. My name is Aaron Kreiner. I live at 109 Taylor Street. I'm just here to basically put a face with the name. I've had the pleasure of talking with most of you. That's why I'm here. I just also wanted to point out that it's been my experience that if you have any issues or concerns, everybody's gotten back with me. There's been a couple on the council that, however, didn't get back with me. I found that a little disappointing. There's one in particular that doesn't even have a phone number to reach out, only an email. So, as somebody that votes in every election, every special election, midterm, I am somebody I've begun to keep a report card of everybody on here. So, I live by, I got a tattoo here that says respect, and I live by that, and I feel that whether you agree, disagree with what I have to say, any kind of concerns, it is a respectful thing when you do get a call in return. At least you can have the communication. And so it's kind of disrespectful when you don't even get a return call or an email when I've spent the time to reach out. So I hope that changes in the future. I just want to finish up by saying that I haven't attended meetings in the past, and that's kind of my fault, as somebody that does vote, and I do pay attention to what's going on. After the last meeting, I wasn't able to attend the last meeting, and thank you, Mayor, for bringing up my concerns.
You're welcome.
So I've gone back since the last election and basically watched every city council meeting from the last election till now. So I know what's going on, and I've got the notes in the report card here. So since then, I've attended a couple DDA meetings, one that had to get rescheduled because the members couldn't show up. And believe it or not, James gave me some time after the DDA meeting to talk about the planning meeting that I attended. And he gave me some time to express some concerns that I had, and I thought it was a good thing. So just to let everybody know that if you do reach out, it's been my experience that I have had, feedback from all the members, James included, believe it or not, and thanks to you also, mayor. So,
Thank you.
with that, I thank you.
I hope we pass. Okay, thank you so much.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Carol Shannon. I live at 307 Riverview Street. I am here to address the fact that Crown Enterprise intends to build an aggregate plant across the street from my house at Dunn Paper Property, 218 Riverview Street.
Oh, we don't go back and forth, just state what you want to say, and then we'll catch it at the end of the
Well,
meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
I'm new
no
to
problem.
this. I just wanted to say I'm completely opposed to that idea. We have a beautiful neighborhood that would put dust and dirt and semi-trailers, and it would be horrible. So anything I can do to prevent that, I will. That's all. Okay. And what would it do to my housing value? You know, it just, I'm completely opposed.
Thank you so much for coming forward.
I live next door to Carol. I'm Terry Baum. I live at 2704 Wright Street. And I did attend the Planning Commission meeting, and it was adopted to do the PUD, I think it's called. I just wanted to say today that I am in full support of that, and I'm also fully opposed to any aggregate facility going next to my house. It's been 28 years of that factory and nightmare, and I was so thrilled to hear that maybe it would be something else until the bigwigs from Crown got up and talked, and including their lawyer. So very upsetting, and I know, from my understanding, the council doesn't really support the aggregate facility, but just want to go on record that very opposed to that, very in favor of all the rest.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming forward.
Good evening to each of you. I am Bishop Kim Brown, and I am a resident of Port Huron, 3516 Walnut Street. And I'm here today to come in support of the residents of the south side of Port Huron, and also to come as the pastor of our church to say that I am very thankful. This is the first thing that I'm thankful for, that finally there's going to be some activity on fixing the street on Moak. So I do want to say that, whether it's the county or the city, I'm glad about that happening on today. Of course, as you know, our church is the church that experienced the fire some few years ago. But we are now in the process and very grateful that we're moving forward in being able to reestablish ourselves in that community. Even though we have not been there physically, we have always been there in our heart for 30 years. And for 90 years altogether, as of next year, we will have, our church will have served this community. And so as I am here supporting the South Park today, I'm looking at over our time, we've had a lot of loss in that area from this standpoint. Spaces, safe places, and that kind of thing. I'm listening and hearing, and just here trying to get a greater understanding so that as people come to me and they talk about, what is happening with the Reinvestment Center, that I can more clearly understand that and be able to give my voice to that, as well as myself understand. But as I want to go back and just say this part of it, that, again, safe spaces and places. We have some of our churches, unfortunately, that post-COVID were not able to make it spaces. We had many of our areas where there was recreation centers, and as a result of later years, them going into the ownership of others, people don't have as much access to those spaces. The Leonard Center, other places where there were activities and recreation. And now to hear what I thought that I understood, and please help me, and I will ask that, or you can respond at a different time, in a different way, that now those spaces are going to be occupied by city offices. I'm trying to, get clarity on that, because I heard that, and to me, if there has not been discussion or transparency with the people in the community, that even though you are there, it's still going to be a breakdown. And so it is my hope that there will be continued conversation, that there will be understanding, and that those spaces, that space will be also made available for community use, for those individuals to provide services. I myself have asked some questions in regards to it. So I just wanted to say that as we're thinking about things, transparency, open communication, so that there can be support for the things that are happening, and we can find ways to more effectively work together and make Port Huron all together, but South Park specifically, the space that it should be. All right? Blessings to all of you. You're always in our prayers.
Thank you so much, Bishop Kim.
Madam Mayor and council members, my name is Deborah Spencer. I live at 2908 Forest Street, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. I'd like to acknowledge the amount of time, the foresight, and the effort that various city departments, having invested in the proposed planned unit development zoning for the former Dunn Paper site north of the Blue Water Bridge. Given the history of the property, it's clear that the useful life of the industrial zoning has come to an end. With residential zones to the north, the south, and the west completely surrounding the location, a property currently zoned as general and light industrial is unlikely to be at its highest and best use, even if it is legally or geographically possible. I question whether, if it's an aggregate plant is there, whether freighters would be coming up and down in that area, whether, the currents of the river meeting the lake at that point would be very unreasonably dangerous, I would think. The vested parties are likely aware of this, and in an effort to be good corporate citizens, would ostensibly be open to more valuable use of their assets. Citizens and business owners within Port Huron, as well as outlying areas, would welcome the opportunities the PUD zoning could afford. With thoughtful planning and cooperation, a mixed use of commercial, residential, recreational, and commercial businesses are in one of the most beautiful spots in the Blue Water area is a win for the owners, value-producing business, jobs, and anyone seeking to increase future opportunities for our community. Thank you for the time to address this important issue. And in addition, I also feel that the integrity of the environment, which we're all well aware, is of utmost concern. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Craig Schlinker. I live at 2413 Stone. I'd like to first thank Mr. Penn for coming out here and educating us on some good information, and Eileen, of course. And, of course, thanking all the citizens who came out here to support the Reinvestment Center. I'm a firm believer in this.
Sir, Mr. Slinker, you have to address the
I'm
council.
sorry.
Address the
Is that
council.
better for you?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor.
Keep your eyes up here.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
In any case, I do want to thank probably the YMCA group that was over at the Garfield Elementary this year. They did an exceptional job. Please continue to support them. As far as being topic or resolution 118, you can go ahead and dismiss it all you want. I already knew that was going to happen from the very beginning because that's just how it is around here. But going forward, I would encourage the citizens to record what you do with this city. They're going to lie on you. Have a nice night.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thanks for being here, and thanks for your service to the city of Port Huron. I love living here. I've been here over 20 years. I was a transplant from California originally. My name is Hillary Makatange. I live at 1226 Cedar Street in Port Huron. I'm right on the very edge of the industrial zone, which is now primarily empty. Well, not well populated, in other words. So this is related to the very back page of the agenda. I understand you can't jump around, but this is related to the change in zoning for done paper to the PUD designation. As a person who lives near an industrial area, I've definitely struggled with some of the issues that come with noise, vibration, trains. A lot of people come behind my house from other locations. I don't know if they're homeless or they're just looking for a place to stay. So we've had a lot of issues around 13th Street and Cedar, kind of near the train property and the industrial properties. So that's where I'm coming from in reading this. I'm not sure if the done paper property has been reported as sold or not, but there was some discussion that the Maroons, so I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, it's spelled M-O-R-O-U-N-S, that their family is considering purchasing that property. They own the Ambassador Bridge, and they formerly owned the Central Railroad station that's now been turned into the new Ford headquarters in downtown Detroit. So they allowed those properties to degrade over time and become nuisance properties, like the Ambassador Bridge is still having a lot of problems. So I've heard that they're planning to use it as a location for gravel and aggregate storage or processing. Last I read or saw in person, about 60% or more of the Port Huron Industrial Park is empty or lacking occupation. The Bean Dock, located off of Electric, is a prime shipping location on the St. Clair River, is empty. And we currently are facing a change in zoning that will allow further mixed development of the Dunn property. So this is not a NIMBY discussion for me. I believe that we need economic development, and I believe the city of Port Huron desperately needs good, high-paying jobs. But it is a beautiful location, and it pays to be thoughtful in the long run about how a location is developed. We have a ton of empty houses in Port Huron too, owned by corporations for no other reason than that land is a stable investment, but empty houses slowly degrade and it destroys the social fabric of our neighborhoods. Likewise, underutilized industrial locations are a blight and a danger to local communities, devaluing and drawing unwanted elements to an area. Poorly planned development costs all county payers tax money, sometimes in the form of lost revenue through 10-year tax abatements and tax breaks that were originally designed to draw in business development. My concern with the Maroons is that sometimes the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It's not fair to judge whoever may be in control of the purchase by what former family members have done, but it's worth considering. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, Mayor Ashford,
Good evening.
Manager Freed, council members. I'm here because of Dr. Nevin's memorandum before the Health Department Board of Commissioners. It would enact two harmful changes, cutting funding for outreach centers and removing fluoride from our drinking water. Last few public meetings, residents spoke loudly and clearly. We value our outreach programs and we want safe fluoridated water. The outcry was overwhelming and it's already made the local paper twice. Have both copies right here. The community is paying attention and we've been clear about what we want. These crucial outreach centers vaccinate, provide preventative care, and connect vulnerable families with essential services. Without them, people who already face barriers to healthcare will be left with nowhere to turn. And when that happens, problems just don't disappear. They grow into more serious and more expensive for the whole community. Preventative care is always cheaper and smarter than emergency care after the fact. As for fluoride, this is not a matter of opinion, it's settled science. Communities that keep fluoride in their water see fewer cavities, fewer dental emergencies, lower healthcare costs. Removing it would hit children, seniors, low-income residents the hardest, and it flies in the face of recommendations of every major health body. Places where they've tried to take it out, they've had to put it right back in. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Yet, despite the evidence and the public's overwhelming opposition, the board has already moved ahead. We've already cut some of these outreach programs already. Last meeting, Liz King said that the outreach has been overwhelming. They got to do something, but they've already cut it. And that seems like a real big fumble. City Council, this is where you come in. While you may not directly control the Board of Commissioners, you do have influence. You can pass a resolution calling for these changes to be delayed or stopped. You can demand transparency from the board and insist they explain their action in a public forum, because as of yet, we've got no answers, just that Dr. Nevin's license is on the line. Right? 2 years, all of a sudden we're just cutting it. 1 month, bam. Right? Now what about the fluoride? I don't know. In short, you can stand with us, protect our outreach programs, protect our drinking water, and hold the health department accountable to the people it serves. If residents suppress and even the council are ignored, then the problem isn't just policy, it's accountability, and that's really got to change. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you for coming forward.
Hello, Dawn Falk, Port Huron Township. And the biggest pro-fluoride lobbyist in Washington, D.C. are the American Dental Association, the American Fluoride Society, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Medical Association, CDC, and the WHO. So, you got to watch with these reports. You got to follow the money, same as you do with COVID and all the stuff that happened with Big Pharma. As a matter of fact, if you go to YouTube, there is a John Tramontana, Executive Director of the Michigan Dental Association. He has a call to action for local dentists. The MDA will provide a template for letters to the editor and are working behind the scenes with local city officials and health departments in order to stop the local citizens for requesting removal of fluoride in the water. Kimball Township on August the 19th did a resolution, and it was in opposition of the addition of fluoride to the public water system. So they were requesting you, since you supply the water, to remove the fluoride. And I live in Port Huron Township, and we're going to be doing the same on Monday. So I'm going to read what I can with the time that I have. What I don't finish today, I'll come back for the next meeting. Water fluoridation is a practice of using the public's drinking water as a delivery system to increase the amount of fluoride residents ingest on a daily basis. This is done by adding industrial waste byproducts known as silicofluorides to the public water systems during the treatment process in either powder or liquid form to artificially elevate the fluoride content to 0.7 parts per million. Prior to 2015, the U.S. Health and Human Services recommended fluoride levels in the water for up to 1.2 parts per million. However, this recommendation was significantly lowered to the present level of 0.7 parts per million following the acknowledgement of government research from 2006, 8 years prior. This research revealed that most adolescents in the U.S. experienced overexposure to fluoride during childhood development, resulting in visible side effects. According to the EPA and peer-reviewed research, the primary source of this overexposure was the consumption of water and water-based beverages. Water-based beverages such as Coca-Cola. 1 can of Coca-Cola, 0.7 parts per million, right? Same as the water. Dr. Pepper, 1.02 parts per million. Pepsi, 0.6 parts per million. Black tea, 3 to 4 parts per million per cup. So fluoride is regulated by the EPA as a contaminant. Naturally occurring fluoride, such as Ms. Payton spoke about before, some of the meetings. Naturally occurring fluoride in the water results from the erosion of fluoride-rich rocks and soil by surface and groundwater. Fluoride can also be found in water as a result of pollution from coal mining facilities and from the production of steel, glass, aluminum, ceramics, Solar panels and semiconductors. The silica fluorides used for water fluoridation are largely derived from the pollution abatement scrubbers installed on smokestacks at aluminum smelting and phosphate fertilizing manufacturing plants. It's important to note that the fluoride compounds used in the fluoridation of public water supplies are not of pharmaceutical or food-grade quality and do not undergo any additional refinement or filtration to remove the contaminants before being added to the drinking water. Let me see. The brain is just one of the tissues that fluoride impacts aside from the teeth. There's now a large body of government-funded research indicating that fluoride is neurotoxic to the developing brain and is associated with lower IQs in children.
Ms. Falk, your time is up. Thank you so much.
I'll get you next time. And if you guys, there's like a 79-page study. If you'd like me to send it to you, I'd be more than happy to send it to you. 59 pages of information, 20 pages of all their contacts or their sources. So very good information if you'd like it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Madam Mayor.
Hi,
Asher.
how are you?
I'm well, how are you? Hello, council member. Hello, city manager, Freed. I'm always nervous every time I come up here. I got 1,000 things to talk about every time I come, but I only got 4 minutes.
What's his name?
3.5 probably. I just want to talk about dialogue and delivery. Most of the time when we in this chamber, I really don't agree with it. I feel like most of the time, either the residents is trying to demonize the podium, or the residents feel like the podium is trying to demonize them. But I want to take a break and like try to humanize everyone for a second. I remember a few council meetings ago when James Freed humanized himself and he told us about his baby at home, and he humanized you too, Madam Mayor, Asher, when he said you was right there at the door, you was the first one at the door. And I think that we need to understand, all of us need to understand that we are just people. I agree with the gentleman that was up here earlier. I don't have it tatted on me, but about the respect part, I think it's huge. I think we need respect and tolerance more than we need roads, more than we need the food bags, more than we need anything. I think we just need to take a second, take a deep breath, and understand that everybody's not going to agree with everything that we feel. I can think of a couple of other people that have humanized themselves, or how you can humanize somebody. I had council member Peyton. Now I hear other people talking about her, how much she do for them, and I can agree with everybody else. This is a wonderful council member. Council member Mojarek, he humanized himself. One day I was in here, and before he walked out, he looked at me in my face. I said something, he looked at me in my face, stopped what he was doing, shook my hand. He humanized himself. Here's another person. I seen Kerrigan, Chief Kerrigan, in Fort Gratiot. I don't know if it was his son or his grandson, but for the first time in my life, I didn't see the captain, or the chief of police. I seen a father or a grandfather. I'm like, oh, this is a real person. So I think, again, I just wanted to, like, I got 1,000 things to talk about, but I want to lead with that message. I think we should just have some type of patience and tolerance and understanding. The closest thing to perfect I've found in this life is my wife and my 3 sons. I haven't found nothing perfect in this life yet. So I think we should take a breath, respect each other, love on each other, and we are a community. We got each other back. If we don't got each other back, who else got our back? We gonna kill each other, you know? So I just have a great night, everyone. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate every single one of y'all for being here, because I don't have to be here. Thank you, Mayor. Honorable Madam Mayor.
Yeah, thank you for humanizing us.
Dale Hoffman. I own the property at 2373 Military Street, as well as property near the Dunn paper plant. And I want to apologize, I wasn't planning on speaking here today, so I didn't bring any information. But when I hear about the paper plant, I want you to consider that you're being played. It's highly unlikely that's going to be a cement plant. What's really probably going on behind the scenes, Henry McMorrin, for 100 years now, has had 2 cases that set the precedents for real estate law involving commercial properties for the entire state of Michigan. The Maroon family wishes to overturn those 2 precedents. And it has to do with, you cannot build a plant in a residential area, and the other one is the abandonment of property. In other words, non-use is not abandonment. And it has a whole lot to do with the way properties are taxed, as well as the value of a property, especially in the Detroit area. They have all these commercial properties, and people are pushing back saying, you know, we don't want this in our neighborhood. And so they're overturning that or trying to, and they've done this for the past 50 years, where they go around and they collect court cases, and they throw them at the local courts until they find a judge that agrees with them, and they change the legal landscape. So that is what is behind this. And I promise you I will forward a copy of those two cases. But that is what is behind this. And I know the Maroons probably better than anybody in the city. And that's the continual playbook that they go by. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the lesson.
Good evening, Mayor, Manager, Council, audience, everybody. Thank you. My name is Alan Skinner. I live on Stone Street at the north end of the Stone Street drag strip. And from there, we won't talk anymore about that. I have some comments on the requesting information and asking again about the proposed revisions to the 5-year plan. I've been out of touch in a way with surgeries, home care, and rehabilitation for a couple of years, and I don't have a good understanding of where we're at on the 5-year plan. But a couple of them, I may have missed the hearings, I don't know. Have there been hearings? I don't know. What I do want to comment on is add to Mr. Harris's comments about the Dunn Paper Company. Years ago, I thought that we had a situation in the city of Port Huron where residents had to vote on any use or reuse of riverfront property. I don't see that coming into the discussion at all. Mr. Harris mentioned the surrounding neighborhoods, and I believe that to be an issue too. I think we have to go back and know the understanding for the vote of the riverfront property, use of the riverfront property. A few weeks ago or a few months ago, I read something about on the 5-year plan is that until it's in place, each agency or department in the city would making their own plans, zoning, recreation, variables. They did what they want, made their own zoning decisions, processed variances, they get what they want instead of having a whole overall master plan. We don't have any parameters in a 5-year plan. I think that we need that public input, that meeting. I have some proposals for the city that may or may not be considered in the 5-year plan, if and when it happens. I don't know the status of it. But I think we have a couple of situations that are open for good discussion. We have many issues that have come up in the core city areas in Port Huron. It's a long, narrow strip of land that should be pre-planned, and people need to comply with ordinances, zoning, and not go for variances. We have an emerging session in the south end of town with the new community center, providing the focal point for added activities in organization and development, encouraging, along with the industrial zoning proposal property that's been approved. And I think it's a prime area to look at the concepts of a 15-minute city planning. Several around the city that have been, country that have been developed. And at the north end, there's a prime area for a 15-minute city. I think that should be incorporated into the 5-year plans. Those are my thoughts for now. Hopefully, me and my family will get better, and I'll be able to attend more meetings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian Farquhar, 19th Avenue. I guess the first thing I'm going to address tonight, because it'll cover 4 quick things that I have to talk about, is the city manager's administrative report. You guys probably won't find in there that the building and zoning department is 11 months behind in assessing some of their permits. If any of you would like some more information on that, I can provide some information further into that. Mr. Haynes, he won't respond, so don't worry about talking to him. In the administrative report, and I believe Mrs. Johnstick is wonderful at her job, and this isn't an attack at Cindy at all, but last year, unfortunately, an eligible candidate was allowed to run for city council, and that was myself. Directly, I think that falls under the city manager, just as a bad fall there. Also, within the last 6 months, I was sued by the city of Port Huron for my non-payment of back taxes, which some of you may know, some of you may not know. But that was after I was told that I couldn't do a payment plan, and then I was served with the notices and court paperwork, and then presented the night before the court with a payment plan. So it's just this weird whole deal of just kind of bad management on the play, and unfortunately it falls all back to whatnot. The other thing is we're dealing with this Crown Development deal here, and the long and the short of it, Crown, and I know you don't like when we turn around, and unfortunately, Mayor, you're just gonna have to stand. That may be your guys' property. This is our city. You're not welcome here, okay?
Excuse me.
Turn around.
Excuse me, please, well.
No, that's it. Don't stop my time, okay? They're not welcome here. Back on August 8th of 2024, you and I were in a room together with a meeting with the city manager. And the other candidates, Mrs. Payton was in there, and we were made aware of this issue then. It's bullshit that we're dealing with this now, and this wasn't taken care of back then. It's bullshit that we kept it from our citizens as long as we have, and kept it wrapped up in the paper and the rest of it, okay? And that's just the long and the short of it all. And unfortunate if the other council weren't privy to that, and unfortunately, just Google Crown Development EPA violations in the state of Michigan. We don't want them here, okay? We know that that's a contaminated piece of property, okay? There's not any good, we have family members that have worked there. Sure, everybody in this room, except for the 2 gentlemen sitting in the back corner that aren't welcome here, have family members in this room that'll tell you that their sludge permits are dumps and stuff that there'd be 30 below freezing temperatures and they wouldn't freeze. There's chemicals on that property. If we put a goddamn aggregate there, we're gonna build our roads with those stone. We're gonna build cement, our homes, our streets, our playgrounds, the rest of it, over my dead body, okay? You're gonna have to kill me before you can move in. So get your hitman out, whatever you guys do. The other thing I just find, and I'd like to hear some discussion from council on this tonight, okay? And this isn't to dog a local company or any of the rest of it, but I see him from the city manager number 4 here. We're accepting a thing from Body Construction to rehab some space on 10th Street here, the sanitary pump station. Didn't they just drop the ball in the pocket park, and didn't we just have to sue them? I mean, not whatever, but if we had to litigate with a company to get them to finish one job that was $500,000, why are we giving them a job for $1 million? And I know contractually we have some deals as far as like bidding and the rest of it, but just vote it down and say the rest of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
A lot of people support that, and not the people that support you on planning commission. Have a great night.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Tom Shear. I represent Crown Enterprises, the owner of the properties located at 218 Riverview Street, 2601 Omar Street, and 2530, 2520, and 2500 Wright Street. Before tonight's meeting, I delivered to the city clerk a copy of a protest letter. I have copies for the council as well as copies of the correspondence that my colleague Alan Green has submitted previously. I wanted to deliver those to you so you all have copies of them. Councilmember Ozrak to distribute among the council. I'm going to read into the record the protest letter that I delivered to the city clerk before the meeting. It's dated September 8th, 2025. Dear Mayor Ashford and members of the City Council, Crown Enterprises LLC is the owner of the above referenced properties and pursuant to 52-127 of the city zoning ordinance protests the rezoning of these properties from industrial and residential land unit development as contemplated under resolution number 25-109 and ordinance number 25-006 as identified in items 7, J, and K1 of the agenda for the City Council meeting for September 8, 2025. Regards, Crown Enterprises LLC, signed by its president. I incorporate this letter and the letter from my colleague Alan Green into my comments tonight. And as you know, Crown continues to object and protests the rezoning of these properties from industrial to planned unit development, or PUD. We ask the City Council to reject the proposal. Crown purchased these properties back in December of 2023 to use for its industrial operations. The site includes 12 acres of land. They are uniquely suited for industrial purposes. They have direct access to rail and to the water, and that is essential to Crown's business operations. Under the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, a planned unit development rezoning requires a detailed site plan, proposed uses, and a thorough review process. And unfortunately, none of that has happened here. The city's own zoning ordinance outlines multiple stages of review and public input for planned unit developments. And that includes a detailed site-specific development plan, which would normally be addressed with the owner of the property, in this case, Crown. Crown has offered multiple times to meet with representatives of the city, including at the City Council meeting on August 8th and at the Planning Commission meeting on September 2nd. And unfortunately, that has not happened. Crown's invitations to sit down and talk about this have been rejected. The city is attempting to rezone without submission of a proposed plan and proposed uses and without detailed information as to how that plan satisfies the objectives of the ordinance, and that is unfortunately against the law. Rezoning to planned unit development without permitted uses or standards will prevent Crown from its ability to use the property. The proposed ordinance offers no clear guidance to Crown, leaving Crown subject to arbitrary decisions. Again, that is not consistent with the law. The proposed ordinance contains no uses permitted as of right or even permitted special uses, and that is also against the law. There are no standards whatsoever in the ordinance, and that is not consistent with the law. So we believe the ordinance violates Crown's property rights, and for those reasons, Crown asks that the council reject the proposed rezoning. Thank you.
Your time is up. Thank you.
Lord have mercy.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. My name is Greg Obloy. I'm Vice President with Crown. Land use and entitlements is what I've done for a career. And quite frankly, I don't know how tonight you're in a position to make a decision on this rezoning. This process in front of you is patently deficient. When you look in your agenda materials, there's simply an aerial map and a resolution that I'll get to later. But typically in a rezoning, there's a staff report or a consultant's report or a professional setting forth the reasons, whether it's by the city or by an applicant. Not even the basic information under your own rezoning application, such as a survey certified by a licensed surveyor, is in your materials. I mean, that's just very simple. I was at Planning Commission last week, and it was the only item on the agenda. There was no staff presentation to the Planning Commission as to what was going on, what's the rezoning, the justifications for the rezoning, nothing. Just went to public comment. I don't see any of the public comment in your agenda materials. With regards to the rezoning, I find it very arbitrary that you literally have some residential parcels owned by Crown next door and adjacent to the industrial uses owned by others, but they're not part of the rezoning. So the line in the sand is who owns the real estate, not the actual physical location of the property or its adjacent uses or adjacent zoning. As our council said, the ordinance in and of itself is just vague. I read ordinances for a living when we buy property. I can't make heads or tails on your PUD ordinance as to what my permitted uses are for this property. With regards to your resolution, I find it deficient. First of all, the resolution avoids the big elephant in the room, which is your own master plan map for future land use identifies it as industrial. It ignores the immutable characteristics of the property. There's a dock, there's rail, there's a tall water tower with cellular equipment, and some people here, there might be environmental conditions there. When you look at your resolution, it picks apart the master plan, talking about public access to waterways and all this other stuff. But what it really says is to maintain access. It doesn't say obtain. And if you wanted to obtain the property, there's the front door method. That's called eminent domain. This process is more akin to inverse condemnation, which is taking by regulation. I implore you to not adopt this resolution and ordinance to rezone our property to PUD. This process and the vague ordinance denies us our substantive and due process rights. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council, Mayor Ashford, Manager Freed. My name is Curtis Jevons, and I live at 2714 Forest Street, which is a couple blocks up behind the Dunn Paper property. And I guess I also come in front of you as a concerned citizen about the use of the property. I'm here tonight to strongly urge you to vote in favor of rezoning this site to a planned unit development, or PUD. This property has been zoned industrial for over a century. It was once a paper plant, obviously, but times have changed, and so has our community. What hasn't changed is the risk we face when outdated zoning allows harmful industrial uses to move in without public oversight. The current owners, Crown Enterprises, have submitted plans to build an aggregate plant, a facility that crushes stone, gravel, and sand. This is not just a zoning issue, it's a health, environment, and economic concern for every resident in the area. Aggregate plants release fine particulate matter, including silica dust, which can cause serious respiratory illnesses, especially in children, seniors, and those with asthma. Those particles don't stay on site. They travel through the air, settle on homes, infiltrate our lungs. I have not lived here my whole life, but I have heard of stories of peerless cement and people scraping their cars every morning to get to work, almost like snow. And that's not, I didn't experience that myself, but I understand it, and I think it'd be an awful thing to happen in the area. The noise, vibration, and heavy truck traffic from these facilities also degrade our quality of life. They disrupt wildlife, pollute runoff water, and destroy the peace of our neighborhoods. The gentlemen from Crown are talking about rail and water. They're not talking about the large gravel trucks that would be rumbling through our neighborhood on a daily basis, maybe 24/7, depending on the situation. And I can't imagine these large trucks were already disrupted with the Dunn Paper site and the large semis that came through. But the gravel truck issue, and is our roads able to handle that kind of weight? There's a lot of different issues from that. In addition, property values near aggregate plants drop significantly. That's not just a statistic, that's our equity, our retirement savings, and our ability to sell our homes. No one wants to live next to a dust-spewing industrial site. Crown Enterprises has a troubling pattern of buying old industrial sites and converting them into aggregate or cement production facilities. They've done this in other towns, obviously I think East Detroit, leaving behind pollution, noise, and economic decline. Their track record shows a disregard for community well-being. Rezoning the property to PUD gives the public a voice. It allows for community input, environmental review, and responsible planning. It ensures that any future development aligns with the needs and values of Port Huron residents, not just corporate interests. We recognize that they are a private property. They bought that property, and we are not against development. We are against development that harms our health and our environment and our homes. A PUD is the path forward that protects our community and promotes thoughtful, sustainable growth. I would very much encourage you to please vote to rezone this property to a planned unit development, give the public a seat at the table, and protect our environment. If you're not familiar with Crown Enterprises, they do have some interesting articles written about them in some of the Detroit publications. We have a QR code if you'd like to scan that to read that article. And if you're also interested in talking about the health hazards of living near an aggregate crushing plant, there is studies out there about the particulates and various pollution aspects of living near that particular type of facilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to address the council this evening? Well, seeing none and hearing none, we'll close our public comment session. I'd like to thank everyone for coming forth this evening and sharing your views and your perspectives on things that you're most concerned about, and we did hear you. You may proceed. For your public, city manager's report. City manager.
Yep, Madam Mayor and Council, you have my 11-page written report before you. Just real quick, on Lapeer Ave, they are continuing to put stone down. They anticipate putting curb and gutter in the next couple of weeks, so that project is progressing well. I continue to meet with SC4 and conduct site visits with SC4 for their master plan update in hopes that it intertwines with our master plan, which I hopefully will have a memorandum of understanding with SC4 to this board at the next meeting. Real quick, just a couple public comments tonight. We did do the crosswalks last year. We're working on bringing those crosswalk paintings in-house this year. So hopefully before the cold season gets underway, you'll see some additional crosswalk works. We'll also get with DTE on the streetlight issue. I was unaware that those streetlights were out. We will get with DTE and put in a request to have those repaired as well. As for the Harvey Reinvestment Center, everything we're doing down there is based on the public engagement strategies that we have done. The city is only taking a 10 by 10 square foot office. The rest of the facility, this is the whole point of the city taking it over. The Port Huron Housing Commission, if the city wasn't buying it, was going to sell it to a private developer or to a private group. And we didn't think that was right. So the whole point of what we're doing is to keep that community center open to the public. The number one complaint we get right now is that the public can't use it. We're hoping to fix that in short order. I do want to address the statements that were made tonight by, I think, Eileen Tesh, who claimed that repeatedly that I make over $200,000 a year. That is a lie. What's interesting about that lie is that she knows it's not true because I gave her 12 years of W-2s that I get from the city of Port Huron, which put all my wages on it. So she knows exactly what I make, and it's not nearly $200,000 a year. So I'm perplexed why she continues to come every meeting and claim I make over $200,000 a year when she's holding my W-2s. Interesting. Every year, I am required to file what's called a conflict of interest form. Every city employee, every council member is required to file that. On that form, we list off a whole host of do we own property, do we do business with the city, just to make sure things are on the up and up. For the last 4 years, I have disclosed, and I have filed all the proper paperwork, that it's not 2 to 4 hours a week, it's 2 to 4 hours a month. I serve as a consultant doing executive recruiting and municipal finance consulting. Almost every city manager in the state of Michigan is either a consultant or an adjunct college professor. If you talk to most public policy classes, our adjunct college professors are city managers. So that is fully disclosed. The idea that me serving 2 to 4 hours a week is unethical is just kind of ridiculous. One of the things I do want to address is that on that conflict of interest form, it says, are there any other relationships that you think we should know about? Many of you know I live in the city of Port Huron. I love my home here. My home was built in 1937. It's an older home, and with an older home, I have a lot of problems. The last couple of years, I've dealt with roof leaks. My roof has leaked in 2, now it's a 3rd location, that it's been pesky to find a roof leak. They tell me my roof's good, but yet it's still leaking. We had suffered, because it's an older home, I have a lath and plaster in my house. my plaster had gotten really damaged. And in fact, in my daughter's room, my daughter came into me one night and said, "Daddy, my floor's wet," one morning. I walked in and the plaster had fallen through. And so we got the roof fixed, but then I was left with all this plaster damage within my house. And having two little girls, my house was in, you know how they run down the walls, get dirty. So I needed my house painted. But in addition to having my house painted, I needed the plaster repaired, and I needed somebody who could do it really well. Councilmember Moserak, as many of you know, is a small business owner. Has for how many years have you been a small business owner, Councilman?
23.
23 years, Councilmember Moserak has been a small business owner in town. Bob is one of those highly respected, highly referenced painters and plaster repair people in the entire city. He can fix plaster in a way that you would never know it was ever damaged. And I had the entire interior of my house painted, and I had all the plaster work repaired, and Bob did a tremendous job. My living room, you would never know that it had water damage. My daughter's room looks wonderful, and my bedroom no longer has a giant orange sagging plaster hole in it because Bob was able to fix it. I think I paid Bob somewhere between $11,500 and $12,000, which if you do comparative, that's actually on the cheap. He cut me a really good deal. I wasn't required to put that in my conflict of interest report, but I think if you give a council member some money to do some work, it should be disclosed to the public. So I disclosed that to the public. What's interesting is without ever talking to Bob, he actually added it to his disclosure report as well. So we followed the public disclosure rules to the T, and to have someone come up here and throw that in our faces if we did something unethical is really just disingenuous to the entire point of the public process. So I don't make $200K a year, and Bob, I want to thank you for doing a damn good job on my house. My family appreciates it. And the joke always is so you hire Bob, he will leave your house cleaner than he found it, and that was absolutely true. So with that, that's it. That's all I got.
Sure.
That's it. And if anyone would like a copy of my W-2, you can pick them up from the clerk's office tomorrow.
Told you we wouldn't finish. All right. All right, thank you for that administrative report. Next, we are going to move to our consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Mayor Ashford?
Oh, yes.
I'd like to request to remove number 12, Resolution 25-114, please.
What was that, Resolution 12?
Yes, number 12 under resolutions, 25-114.
Oh, okay. You got that, Cindy?
Yep.
Move number 12? Okay. So we have number 12 being removed. Is there any more? Okay, hearing none. We proceed. Is there a motion to move?
So moved.
forward? Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Archibald.
Support.
Supported by Councilmember Moserak. Any discussion? Hearing none. Motion carried. Take a vote, please.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Moserak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
No.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
No. Okay. So the following are on the consent agenda. Resolution number 8, approving the lease agreement with the Economic Development Alliance of St. Clair County to lease the south side office space on the 4th floor of the Municipal Office Center. Number 9, approving the 3-year agreement with the Port Huron Area School District to assign 3 police officers to serve as school resource officers on the Port Huron Area School District campuses beginning with the 2025 and 2026 school year. Number 10, making permanent temporary traffic control order number 1405, which states the intersection of Michigan Street and McMorran Boulevard shall be a 4-way stop. Resolution number 11, approving the sale of the non-buildable vacant lots at 2609 Nern Street for $500. Resolution number 13, confirming the mayor's reappointment of Theo Kerhulis and Lee Ward to the Tax Increment Finance Authority with a term to expire September the 14th, 2029. Resolution number, Where's our police? Tell them to be quiet, we're having a meeting in here.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon?
And I don't want to be out of line, but Madam Mayor, too, I couldn't hear. I actually thought that we were doing the consent agenda, so since I couldn't hear what that one was, am I able to change my vote on?
The consent agenda.
Huh?
No, that's already been carried.
Okay.
You are pleasantly out of order. I was trying to get this noise out in the hallway. Do you mind stepping out there, telling them to be quiet, please? You're good?
I'm good. I'm sorry.
Oh, he did, okay. Okay, we're on resolution number 14. Thank you for your patience. Confirming and approving single lot special assessments for a large bush and branch pickup in the right-of-way. Resolution number 15, confirming and approving single lot assessments for special trash pickup and/or sidewalk repair in the right-of-way. Number 16, accepting the city's attorney's report and recommendation regarding the code of conduct complaint and approving and the dismissal of the complaint as being without merit with no further action required. And I will go back and I had missed the communication petition. Receive and file notification from the Michigan Liquor Control Commission that an application has been received to transfer ownership of a 2025 Resort SDD to Jude's Capital LLC located at 1433 Military Street. Are we resuming?
We are good now, yes.
Okay, from the city manager.
Accepting the bid from EC Cornifel in the amount of $577,500 for the seawall rehabilitation project at the wastewater treatment plant.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Pemberton. Support. Second by Councilmember Lamb. Any discussion?
Madam Mayor and Council, this was not a budgeted item. We're going to have to adjust our wastewater budget to account for this, but the seawall is in desperate need of repair, and we have done exploratory digging this past summer, as someone noted that it was coned off, and this work needs to be done.
And I think with that one, was that the one, the contract where they had to reach the requirement? Is that, wait a minute. No, that's not the one. Yeah, it was the lowest, and we are in compliance. It is the lowest bid.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Okay. All right. Take the vote, please.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. City Manager number 2.
Accepting the bid from Murray Underground Systems Incorporated in the amount of $116,702 for the Ravenswood Sanitary Sewer Extension Project.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by by Mayor Pro Tem Archibald.
Support.
Supported by Councilmember Mosrak. Any discussion on that? Okay, here. I have a question. City Manager, do you have anything on this one or no?
Yeah, it's, we essentially had a master parcel that's being split. We call it an island parcel. It's going to be brought out to 5 different parcels. They're going to build 5 homes there, and so we'll be able to recoup this with the revenue we make from the houses being built there.
Oh, okay. And with this extension, in those 5 parcels that were recently split from the parent parcel, what are the consequences of that?
That they're able to build 5 different homes instead of 1.
So, okay, so it just increased the
Density, yep.
amount of home, okay, the density, okay, thank you. Okay, vote please.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Okay, number 2.
Number 3.
Number 3, yeah.
Approving the proposal from Oscar W. Larson Company in the estimated amount of $38,813.25 to upgrade the existing Fuel Master system to Fuel Master Live.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Pemberton.
Support.
Second by Councilmember Lamb. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote, please.
Councilmember Peyton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Harenza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Okay. Was it at number 4? Number 4?
Accepting the bid from Body Construction Company Incorporated in the amount of $1,040,000 for rehabilitation of the 10th Street Sanitary Pump Station.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Pemberton and second by? Is moved. Anybody want to second it?
I'll support for discussion.
Okay, support for discussion. Okay, discussion open?
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Madam Mayor and Council, we did have some hiccups with the Pocket Park with Body Construction. However, there was issues both the engineering and with the contractor. We did avoid litigation. That project is back on track. They are working very well with us. They are currently doing the Lapeer project, which is a multi-million-dollar contract. They're doing a good job there. It is on project, it is on time, and they're doing an excellent job. Our city attorney said we have no reason to disqualify them from bidding, as they have fulfilled the contract obligations without the previous contract that we have with them, and so they are in good standing with the city. And so they are the low bidder, and they did successfully win this project, and it is my recommendation to go with Body Construction.
Okay. Any more questions?
Yes, Mayor Ashford. I do agree with Mr. Farquhar about this issue because I do understand they are the low bid and that they are doing a good job with the Lapeer. I've looked into that, but still, we have the Pocket Park, so
The Pocket Park is back on track now.
how long is it going to be until it's finished?
I'd say probably, right now they're waiting on our end now because we're designing a structure.
Mhm.
So the project is being delayed while we fabricate the structure and get the footings put in. So right now, they're holding off on us, but we anticipate having that buttoned up probably the full structure up very early spring, but all the concrete and all the railings by November 1.
And how much extra is that going to cost for the project?
Well, right now, the current project, not much more except for the structure, which is something we did. So all the other costs, there's no cost increase there. The only additional cost is the structure when we want to enhance the designs. The DDA voted this past week to enhance the design by putting a structure on there that can be used during inclement weather.
Has there been any input from the city at all as to what they want,
For what?
for what the Pocket Park should be?
The DDA is handling that.
Okay.
And yes, they've met with business owners. Before we did the Pocket Park, we met with community business leaders down there about what they would like to see, what uses they would like to see. For instance, like a small venue there for concerts, which we did pilot that program. Also, a small space that can be used for other events and other gatherings.
I know they've also mentioned that they want to see trees back up there. Is that going to be a possibility?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mayor Ashford, most of my questions have been answered. I really was concerned about the same thing, giving a contract to somebody that we've had issues with, and I want an assurance that the Pocket Park is, one, being done, and two, they're taking care of everything, and we're not incurring any additional cost.
Correct, and I also think it's very important the good job they're doing on Lapeer. And Body Construction has been working with the city now for 25, 30 years, and they've done an excellent job on every single project. This Pocket Park was just an anomaly, which I think there's faults on both the design end and the contractor, and so I wouldn't fault them completely on what happened at the Pocket Park. And they have worked very well with us to remedy the situation, to change the design and work with us. So I will say, although the project is taking longer, I wouldn't fault Body Construction completely, and they have been working well with us. Or I would not be recommending this. And the Pier project is going very well.
So with the gap between the Pocket Park, so we didn't have to pay anything extra, did we?
Except for the design costs that we incurred by enhancing the project with the structure.
Okay, the changeover we had to do in order for them to, okay.
Yep.
Mayor Ashford, if I could jump back in there for a moment, what experience do they have in sanitary pump rehabilitation as opposed to streets?
Significant
things that they're
experience.
doing?
They've done previous work for us as well on this exact same issue.
Thank you.
Any more?
I will say, all three, goodness, if I die before the end of this meeting. All three bidders are excellent companies. Raymond does a fantastic job. Z Contracting does a fantastic job. So the fact that we got three very, very well-qualified bidders is a good thing.
Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
No.
Councilmember Payton?
No.
Mayor Ashford?
No. Okay, what do we have?
Resolution number 1.
Okay. Resolution number 1.
Authorizing 24 payments.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Mosrak and supported by Mayor Pro Tem Archibald. Any questions or discussion on that one? City Manager, you have anything on that?
Well, I would just note on page 47, everyone wants to talk about the change orders that go up, but nobody ever seems to come to the podium and talk about the change orders go down. On page 47, that was a reduction of $716,000 in that contract.
Okay.
So,
I had that.
yeah, I'm not sure if someone missed that when they were going to give public comment, but it's important to note that.
Yep, aside from the one you just mentioned, because I noticed that too, I always look at the change orders, and that was one that was decreased. Can you tell us anything, any updates on the Black River Canal, the Tainer Gate?
No, we're
We're still paying.
We're paying
What's that?
for the engineering cost and design to get ready for to get it all bid ready, which it is now. We still hopefully will have some funding from the state. It's, we are now, I don't know what date is, the 9th? 8th, it's the 8th. So we are running out of time before government shutdown. So hopefully this budget gets done before October and we get some answers of whether or not we can get some funding or not.
Oh, okay. So the point I was just trying to make, we're still paying into that.
These are
Yeah,
previous engineering costs,
just
yes.
kind of yeah, okay, so it's still moving. And as far as at 1-4, that's the hospital area road reconstruction and utility replacement, phase 1. How many phases are a part of that?
2, you voted on phase 2 at your last meeting.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. And what's the timeline of that?
Next summer and spring.
Next summer and spring, okay?
They are getting those roads buttoned up right now, though. In phase 1, the removal of Stone Street on SC4 campus is being completed.
Mhm.
So it's starting to look very different over in that area of the city.
Oh, okay. And then 1-6, this is the Black River Canal, the Port Huron, the bike path. What are we doing with the bike path at Port Huron Northern?
Which page?
1-6.
That's just the final payout, closing out that project.
Okay. What did the project entail? The question is, what did the project
Yeah,
entail?
the bridge and pathway.
Pathway,
Yep.
okay. I thought it was already.
We just finally closed it out.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, and then the MDOT contract, Lapeer Avenue Road reconstruction, 1-7.
What about it?
What about it? I'm asking you, what about it? In terms of MDOT, that's the plaza area, correct?
No, this is part of our MDOT contract for the Lapeer reconstruction.
Okay, the reconstruction, and the time frame on that is when?
It's going on right now on Lapeer.
I know, what is the time frame? When is it anticipated?
Hopefully it should be done before snow falls.
Oh, okay, because that was a question coming from the floor.
Yeah, but this is,
That's the reason I asked that one.
we received a Scott's grant, which is essentially an MDOT contract to fiduciate that.
Mhm.
So this is us paying into MDOT.
Oh, okay.
For the Lapeer, it's a grant amount.
Okay, that was a question that we got out here. And 1-9, okay, now that is MDOT, this one is the Blue Water Bridge Plaza. We don't really, do we actually pay anything towards that, or is that all MDOT?
I believe this is for the utility work.
Okay,
So
so
there was,
that
there was
is-
some sanitary work within the plaza footprint that we wanted to take care of at this time.
And the MOC parking structure, how is that, what's happening with that?
They're buttoning it up right now.
They're buttoning it up, and so it should be open when?
Yep,
When is it gonna be open?
before winter.
Before winter?
Yep.
Okay, all right, thank
And
you.
if you guys have any questions on the bills, feel free to email me in advance. That's why I send these things out, to help make sure we get these questions answered.
No, I
in
had a
advance.
lot of them, I wasn't gonna email you in advance, but if I had a real hard one, I will email you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Roll call.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Harenza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Now we move to resolutions. We are on resolution number 2.
Approving the proposal with Tetra Tech Incorporated in the estimated amount of $53,500 to perform construction and inspection engineering services for the wastewater treatment plant seawall rehabilitation project.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Support?
Moved by Councilmember Mosrak and supported by Councilmember Pemberton. Is there any discussion?
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Yes.
Just an explanation on what are they providing that's different than what the contract for replacement is?
Yeah, so
Why are they
they're
not hiring the
providing
engineer?
the design and construction oversight of the actual $577,000 project that you approved beforehand. So from the city manager number 1, this corresponds directly with that project.
Right, my question was, why they are not securing their own engineer to do this? Why are we securing one separately?
Because it's for inspection and compliance. We always have our people inspect and comply.
Thank you.
So it's kind of like the fox watching the hen house type thing.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll please.
Councilmember Harenza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Resolution number 3.
Approving the agreement with St. Clair County Road Commission for the Moak Street Road Reconstruction and Water Main Replacement Project.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Lamb, second by
Support.
Councilmember Mosrak. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor and Council, this road is in terrible condition. I remember in 2015 visiting with Bishop Brown at her church, and she goes, "When are you going to do something about this road?" And I said, "Let me find out." That's when I found out it was in the road commission's hands. So they're going to be finally reconstructing that road, but we do have water main that runs underneath it, so it makes sense to replace that water main, which is in need of replacement before they replace that, well, at the same time as they replace that road.
And they're paying for the whole thing?
The road project, yep.
Yeah, excellent. Okay.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Harenza?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Council members, the next resolution 4 and 5, does anybody have any objections if we take those both together? Okay. Okay. Clerk, if you would read them both together, we'll take them both.
Approving the purchase and development agreement with Woda Cooper Companies Incorporated to purchase city-owned property commonly referred to as the former River District Grocery Store site located at 3550 Electric Avenue. And then approving the selection of Woda Cooper Companies Incorporated for the redevelopment of 3550 Electric Avenue.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Archibald and second by?
Support.
Councilmember Pemberton. Any discussion on any one of those?
Madam Mayor and Council, this is the same development group that we worked with before on the River District site. We looked at a plan just before COVID, and then COVID hit and the world changed and blew a massive hole in the project cost. This purchase agreement, we had a purchase agreement already with them. This purchase agreement changes it from condos to be sold to apartments to be rented to address workforce housing. We have Craig Patterson here with the WODA Group. Craig has been very dedicated to the city of Port Huron in making a project happen here. As you all know, we got the Lincoln Lofts approved with $16 million in tax credits. This is all for getting an application through MISTA to get some funding to make this project possible. So he has worked very fast. I think there's a photo of the site plan here. Very fast to answer an RFP, to get all the ducks in a row so he can meet the application deadline for MISTA. This is a long shot, but it would be huge for that end of the community and for the community as a whole to get more workforce housing here. It would be on the water-facing side of electric. And so for those who say, you know, it's not waterfront, well, go out there and look at the views. It's pretty stunning, very stunning views of the waterfront. And so Craig is here if you have any questions for him, but this is us trying to run that project in a different form with a different mix to MISTA in hopes of getting approved. We do feel very confident that this is a good candidate to get funded, but again, this is like one of those things we just take a lot of swings at opportunities. But I do want to thank Craig for your commitment to Port Huron. I think you drove 4 hours to be here tonight. Why don't you get up and say something after 4 hours? You want to stand up and, he drove 4 hours to be here tonight. Most developers, after getting turned down by MISTA, would have walked to a different community, but he stayed here and is committed.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Craig Patterson. I live in Mackinac City. That's where our Michigan office is. Yes, we are very committed to Port Huron. I think it's been at least 12 years on and off. We have looked for sites. We've found this site. We've scored this site. October 1 is the official application to MISTA for housing tax credits. Scoring looks good. Site is highly appropriate. We were here, like James said, several years ago, and we like the site, the city very much. We will be looking and partnering with a local emerging developer. That individual hasn't been named yet, but I've interviewed one individual, and they look promising. What that means is part of our developer fee will be reinvested with that emerging developer, and over the next 15 years, if we are awarded, we will mentor that developer so that someday they can come in like a WODA Cooper and develop it on their own, and that is part of the application. Also, we will be working with Blue Water as our lead agency to provide services that we have set aside $700,000 in the budget over the 15-year period to pay them for services. So that in a nutshell is what we're proposing. We're hopeful for a vote tonight. Thank you. And I'll answer any questions.
Does anyone have any questions, Mr.? I have one.
Sure.
I know we kind of like slipped the first time. I don't know, you didn't get the funding or you didn't get approved by HUD, correct?
Yes, ma'am. It was an opportunity to bring missing middle type of funding. We applied in phase 1. Unfortunately, MISTA's funding for missing middle got appropriated to other areas in the state, and by the time phase 2 came around, we weren't able to come back and
reapply. So what are you going to do different?
Well, what we're doing
so
different
promising?
is a different funding source, which would be housing tax credits in a competitive round on October 1st. The building size, the location scores well in terms of efficiency of the build. It's a 4-story with an elevator for full accessibility. We're setting aside 10% of the units as barrier-free. We've sized up the parking lot, the site plan according to your zoning requirements and your site plan requirements. And because we have looked all over for similar sites like this throughout the state, we chose this one because it's here, because their commitment to Port Huron, and because this score, given our parameters, what we have done for budget and everything, this score looks very high, and we think we're going to have a good shot at winning funding.
Yeah, because I know they got that system now, HUD, where you get so many points
Right,
towards
it's
that.
points.
Yeah.
And we have the ability to look all over all the other cities, and that's why we chose this.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for coming back. Determination.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other? Okay, call for the vote, please.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Peyton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Resolution 6.
Approving the Memorandum of Understanding with the St. Clair County Child Abuse and Neglect Council, amending the American Rescue Plan Act subrecipient agreement.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Pemberton, and second by
Support.
Councilmember Mosrak. Any discussion?
Madam Mayor and Council, we'll have Deputy City Manager Cynthia Broomfield address this, since she is keeping track of all of our ARPA work. She loves being on TV.
Mayor and Council, just wanted to address this issue. The CAN Council was approved back in May 23 with affirmative votes from Council for funding the 380 and change, as was referenced earlier this evening. The CAN Council actually came to me earlier this year with that funds that you appropriated. That they hired 2 trauma therapists for the CAN Council. Unfortunately, one of the therapists that they hired has left and gone to another position, and so they were left with looking at what do we do with the remainder of the 6 months of funding that was currently obligated. It doesn't really make prudent sense for them to hire somebody, or could they even hire somebody with only 6 months guarantee of a position? So instead, they sought to see if there was ability for them to extend the contract of their remaining therapists, so that therapists would stay on board instead of December 2025, the end of December 26, when you have to be done obligating all of your ARPA money. Under ARPA rules, that is allowable because it's not a substantial change to the proposal, but a memorandum of understanding is highly suggested from U.S. Treasury to put in place should this be needed to look into in the future, that we can show that there was approval and support for changing exactly how this was funded.
Cynthia, can you talk about your reporting and compliance measures with ARPA?
Sure. So we have quarterly reports to U.S. Treasury that we complete every quarter. So tracking, I think we're now at 52 projects, and we have obligated down to the very last cent all of the 17 million and change from that we received back in 2021. So we are close to the end of that reporting cycle. You have to spend all of your funds by the end of 26. And so we have a few of our subrecipients still receiving some funding through that. We do a whole host of reporting obligations, including running all of our vendors through sam.gov to be sure that they're federally approved to receive our funds, reporting, working with our subrecipients every quarter to receive their information back, double checking that the numbers are adding up, that everything looks correct, there's no major red flags, and then reporting that out to Treasury.
Thank you, Cynthia. Madam Mayor and Council, I just want to point out, I want to thank all the people that we've given ARPA funds to for being able to comply with the law, the accounting, the transparency. The CAN Council is no different. They've been a fantastic job of taking the money, doing what they said they were going to do with that money, and then the transparency and compliance factor of it, they've done a great job at doing. And so that is why we recommend this very minor change to make sure it works out well for them.
So they're just extending it?
Correct.
Correct, and everything is the same, that's just all? Okay.
Everything's the same. It just, it didn't make sense for them to hire one therapist for 6 more months. Instead, they keep on the singular therapist that's remained on board with them for another year. I think it's going to be a lot more beneficial for the organization.
Yeah. So there's no money allocation that's being...
No additional money is being spent for this.
Right, okay. Any questions or anything, anybody?
Mayor Ashford, I just wanted to reiterate that this is simply an ask for an extension, and that $0 of this grant go to me in any way, shape, or form. It's just a request to allow us to spend out the dollars, and I'm happy to, I know it's a little weird since I'm up here as a council member, but I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Anybody have any of it? Okay. Okay. Call for the roll.
Councilmember Peyton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Resolution number 7.
Accepting the Planning Commission's recommendation to rezone and designate the properties located at 218 Riverview Street, 2601 Omar Street, and 2530, 2520, and 2500 vacant lots Wright Street as the planned unit development number 1 on the city zoning maps and all appropriate city records.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Pemberton and
Support.
second by Councilmember Mosrak. Any discussion on this? No discussion. Okay, let me see if I can come up with something here. Okay, no, I don't need to come up with something. During the last one, I actually voted no on this, but there's two different things here that caught my eye. The reason I voted no is different from what we're faced with tonight. I voted no because I thought there was a lot of holes in that, and I thought they presented and they made their case very well. Crown did, because when you're dealing, it's almost like negotiations and good faith, and it was just a lot of empty space for me, and I couldn't, in good conscience, do that. You know, it was like a reasonable doubt kind of a thing, and I can live with that. But when it gets to this point right here, and this face our community, and we actually have to really make a really value-added decision, and I know it went before the planning. I wasn't there at the planning commission, but someone did report out to me on what took place, and I like it that the residents came forward, and you spoken, and when your people speak, you listen. And we listen anyway, but this is very touching, and the part about the safety, I don't know, when we did ask if what their plans was, I didn't hear them say anything. Crown said they didn't have any plans for it. But in this case, like I said on the radio the next day, the same thing I'm explaining to you. It was just different for me, and that's the way I make decisions, based on facts and based on hearing and just the processes, period. You just don't make a decision in a vacuum. That decision and how it impacts us. And when we do business as a city, we want to do upfront. And just because it's this day, you still get, I guess you kind of like get a signature about yourself that we're the best to do business with, we're the best to do this with. So that carries, you know. We're just talking about this property here, but all the other stuff that we do that we have to support, we're on the council and we have to be concerned about all of Port Huron. And so that was kind of stuck in me, because you want to do the right thing. But tonight, when I listen, I do have concerns about the safety, and I've always been for neighborhoods and how we can better them and clean up our neighborhoods. We got a whole lot to do. And this is one of those cases that I am going to vote yes on this, but I still have grave concerns about, you know, how it was transacted. To me, we had enough space in there that I can't see why we can't come together and to some kind of, if it's not a resolution, it is an understanding, just what happened. I don't understand why nobody's talking to each other. You know, I understand the issue, but I just don't get that part. But I do get our residents saying what they want in their neighborhoods. And you should get what you want in your neighborhoods.
Madam Mayor, can we have City Attorney Al Francis come here and explain to the mayor that there were not holes in our process?
Oh, no, I'm saying talking to them.
We'll have the city attorney come and explain.
Oh, wait a minute, just a minute. This is my meeting, just a minute. Yeah, no, you don't have to say anything. I got it loud and clear. So, and you heard me. It's my meeting, and you heard me. Okay, I'm voting yes, but the part that I'm talking about is nobody talking to each other, and we should be bigger than that.
Mayor Ashford,
Yes.
I'd like to hear from the city attorney, please.
Yeah, let's see, well, let's vote on it, because I had him sit down. You have any objections? I didn't have any objections, it's just that we've been in here, you don't have to be so long-winded.
I can keep it short, Mayor.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, that's not something attorneys say often.
No, I'm not into a back and forth, especially,
No, the short version is the rezoning is to a district, and I think it's important that it's noted there's not a development, and I agree with Crown, there's not a development that's being proposed here tonight that you're voting on or approving. The PUD district under our zoning ordinance allows for all sorts of developments, mixed use, that sort of thing, that will ultimately be back before, when the development's proposed, it'll be back before this body to vote on that development, not today. As far as the process goes, the zoning ordinance and law allows for zoning requests, for rezoning requests to come from a variety of sources, public petitions, landowners, or city council. In fact, city council is the one who does the zoning in the first place, right? So that's why we're here.
right.
Madam Mayor.
Yeah, and that was explained to me earlier today, but thank you again. It confirms it.
I have a
Yes.
question for the city attorney.
Okay.
City Attorney Francis, can you speak to the proper communications being followed in this process from my behalf of the city?
Yeah, notices were published and provided, they were received, I know that as a matter of fact, because correspondence was provided by Crown, and it's a typical, everything under the state law and the ordinances required for notice, publication, posting was all followed here.
During your time working on this case, we've been working on this for probably a year and a half now, more than a year. In your time of working with myself, David Haynes, the Director of Planning, have you been involved in emails or conversations that you observed us communicating with Crown Investments and back and forth between David Haynes?
Yes.
Okay, so you have personally seen exhibits of communications with Crown
Yeah, I'm
Investments?
aware that communications occurred. I'm also, and Frank, I think this is important, aware that this is not the only parcel that is being considered for PUD. It's the only one that's up here now, but the entire goal of the PUD district, when that amendment was approved, I don't know, earlier this year, or maybe a little bit before that, was to evaluate different parcels within the city, and this is the first one that's come up. I don't anticipate it being the only one.
Are you previously aware that David Haynes, myself, and the previous mayor met with Crown Investments as well?
I was not part of the meeting. I understand that occurred.
Okay. And in your professional opinion, would you say that the city of Port Huron has been responsive to Crown Investments in any communications?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes.
I believe, as council members, we have an obligation to our residents to revisit the zoning anytime a large piece of property comes up, when it becomes vacant or is going to change hands. I think it's up to us to look at that and say, is that use still good, or is it time to change it? So I think we should be doing this with all properties.
Right. Yeah, I agree. That's what I said in the beginning. But thank you. Yeah, thank you. Okay, call for the vote.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. We have one more, resolution number 17. I mean, number 12 that was removed. Thank you. Okay, number 12.
Confirming the mayor's appointment of Kathleen McCready to the Planning Commission for a term to expire August 11, 2027.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, second by
Support?
Councilmember Pemberton. Discussion?
Yes, Mayor Ashford, I asked for this to be removed simply because I continue to I have no problem with the applicant. I have no problem with the appointment. I have concerns with the process on how we're selecting applicants and why we're leaving a position open for, at this point, I think, the betterment of 10 months when we have qualified applicants that have applied prior to that 10 months timeframe. and yet have chosen not to pick them, and we're waiting. So I have concerns about that. I'd like to understand that process better. And then I'd also like to request that moving forward, we have a more transparent, expedient, and efficient process in filling vacancies that are appointed by the mayor.
Okay, no problem. Well, this, to answer your question, why it took so long is because I was waiting for an applicant that was a more diverse candidate, a lot of things that you look at when you're trying to fill these commissions. It's just their whole profile that I look at. I just don't look at just grab anybody just because you're there. I mean, the last, I think all the years I've been sitting up here, if you're the mayor and we get the applications and they're on there for ages, I still got that. As a matter of fact, I was doing that research to give to the council. It's not just because I just got elected and all of a sudden I have to follow a different walk. So this candidate is, I think she's proved herself. She's determined. And I think we haven't even had a woman on there, and I don't know how long any of our commissions.
Again, I have no concerns with the candidate. We have other women that have applied, and their application is still sitting there that are very qualified. It's not about any of the candidates. It's about why we're waiting when we have qualified candidates until we get the one. In my case, this appears the one you want.
Yeah, well, to understand the mayor's process, I have to understand the city council's process too, because you guys have a lot too. I think I have 12 mayor's appointment. You have 19, and so I think the kettle is talking to the pot here. So it's the same thing, a question I asked of you guys too. We all need to work on getting people on our commissions, so it's not just the mayor that's concerned here. So I use great discretion in selecting the candidates and the ones that I am responsible for. And I'm not just going to just pick anybody because they put their name there. I'm going to do the best job that I can for the city of Port Huron and electing people that are going to be committed to doing the job and being in attendance.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes.
Just a couple comments. Again, I also have no problem with Ms. McCready personally being appointed or anything like that. Similar to what Mayor Pro Tem Archibald said, my only comment has to do with the process. So as I think we all recall, it was when you were going to appoint Ms. Bender that I questioned the process at that point. And the same thing that Mayor Pro Tem is asking about, and the fact that existing applicants, qualified applicants, were on the list that had not been contacted. That still is the case. Again, at that time, my issue was not with the candidate. Actually, that opportunity actually became a very good opportunity. Ms. Bender came to me after the meeting and wanted to understand the no vote, and we've been in great correspondence since and have become friends. And again, I think she'd be an excellent appointee to the Planning Commission. At that meeting, I shared that my hope was that that we would work together. Unfortunately, that meeting ended with, I think your comment was, I will appoint whoever I want to, we'll do this again and I'll appoint who I want. And unfortunately, I think that seems to be the case here. And ultimately, I am going to vote yes for Ms. McCready on this, because again, I have no problem with the applicant. My hope was that this would be an opportunity to work together, and quite frankly, I just don't want another headline that the mayor and the council can't get along and this and that, and it's become a bit of a circus in that regard. And I'm glad that Mayor Pro Tem Archibald pulled this off of the consent agenda, because I do want to talk about it. I ultimately, I wish we had talked, because I'd reached out a few times, and I think, if if you had wanted to reappoint your previous, to rebring your previous appointment, I would have supported that. Again, my whole issue was just us working together. So I just want to publicly say that I want to work with you, and I believe I can pretty openly, if I'm stepping on any toes, feel free to say anything, but I believe I can speak for every one of us up here that we just truly do want to work together. So that's all for this.
Okay. Well, I think the appointment speaks for themselves. I am the mayor, it's the mayor's appointment, and when I get ready, I do it. That's why that's the mayor's appointment. And the council's appointment, the council's appointment. And if anybody up here wants to put in names or whatever for consideration, I'll so gladly take that under advisement. But I don't have any problems. I never had any problems in my whole life working with anybody. But these jumping through invisible hoops, I don't do that. So that's where we stand. So if you have any changes that you want to make or something, just, I sent you a letter, just let me know. Is there any more discussion? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Just to confirm. The part I couldn't hear earlier, I didn't know it was coming.
Okay.
If I vote yes, I'm going with your appointment, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Okay, resolution number 17.
Authorizing the establishment of a committed contingency fund balance designation within the city's general fund.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Archibald and supported by
Support.
Councilmember Mosrak. Any discussion?
Just a little explanation, Madam Mayor, if you'd like. The S&P, Moody's, and Fitch monitor the general fund balance. So if the general fund balance is reduced, the unrestricted general fund balance is reduced for any reason, it raises red flags and could be cause for a bond downgrade. By setting this money aside as committed reserves in the general fund, it makes it restricted and doesn't show as an unrestricted fund balance. That way, in the future, when you want to use the money, you won't have reduced your unrestricted balance, you're only reducing your restricted fund balance, which will not throw off alarms to the bond rating agencies. So this is an exercise, you're not spending money or really getting rid of money, you're just putting it as committed for future use within the general fund, so that when you do use it at that time, it doesn't show as a unrestricted general fund balance reduction, because they monitor that, if that makes any sense. It's a way to protect our bond rating, and also gives you this money in the future to use at your pleasure.
Any questions? Okay, hearing none, takes the vote.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Okay, and that concludes our resolutions. We have 2 ordinances. Ordinance 1.
First reading, an ordinance to amend Chapter 52 zoning, Article 3, District Regulations, Division 1, generally, Section 52-162 map of the Port Huron Code of Ordinances to rezone the properties generally described as 218 Riverview Street and 2601 Omar Street from an M1 zoning district to a planned unit development zoning district, and 2530, 2520, and 2500 vacant lots Wright Street from an R1 zoning district to a planned unit development zoning district.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Pemberton and supported by Councilmember Mosrak. Any discussion?
Mayor Ashford?
Yes.
Just a quick comment, as I'm the council representative to Planning Commission, and so, I think it was said earlier, I think you actually made the comment that that you heard about the planning commission meeting. It was a very, very well-attended planning commission meeting. And a lot of very concerned residents, some of which are here tonight, got to meet many neighbors, and appreciate you coming out and enduring a very long council meeting. But there's absolute support among the whole neighborhood, and it was in numbers even much greater than tonight. And I think I spent maybe 20 minutes or half hour afterwards just walking through and discussing a lot of confusion about this. And a question came up during public comment that I wanted to clarify, which was the question about voting on waterfront property. Because I think I've heard that quite a bit as a question that comes up. That is when the city owns waterfront property. It has to, like in this building, for example, it went to a vote to the people when we wanted to sell this property. However, we don't own this site. We are merely making a rezoning change, a requested rezoning change to the site. So, but a lot of people were confused by that. So just wanted to say that again, a lot of attendance from folks in the area, and very, very passionate about us supporting this PUD.
Thank you. Okay, any more discussion?
Madam Mayor, just,
Yes.
I guess, I'd just like to thank that we got to hear both sides, in public comment. We heard from their legal team, and just to hear from the city. I think legal team was good to hear both sides for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Ordinance number 2.
First reading, an ordinance to amend Chapter 16, Community Development, Article 4, Housing Development for Low-Income Persons of the Port Huron Code of Ordinances to provide for a service charge in lieu of taxes for a housing project for low-income persons and families known as Robin Crest, to be financed with a federally aided mortgage loan pursuant to the provisions of the State Housing Development Authority Act of 1966.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support? Moved by Councilmember Pemberton and supported by Councilmember Lamb. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor and Council, this pilot program is very, very similar to what we did at Northview Towers when they did their rehab.
Great.
Same premise.
Same MO. Anybody else want to speak to it? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Now we're at announcements. We have 2. I have another one before me. The annual 9/11 Remembrance ceremony will be held on this Thursday. It's September 11th, 2025 at 9 a.m. at the International Flag Plaza. And in the interest of inclement weather, we'll hold it here in the chambers. But I don't think that is predicted to happen. We'll be in the International Plaza. And then also, I don't know, I think Sherry, did you get an email from Angela Molinaro?
I'm sorry?
Angela, a young lady named Angela Molinaro?
No.
Because I didn't just want to spring it, but anyway, I got this email, and it was addressed to Sherry and myself, and I did share it with the city manager. America will be 250 years old next year. And Angela, let me start with her. Angela grew up in the city of Port Huron, and she works independent of the White House, just specifically on the celebration that is going to be taken throughout the United States of America. And they are selecting cities that they want to go in and champion to just brag about it and just do things. And I know that costs money and all that other kind of stuff, but she was just so excited that she put Port Huron on the list, and they selected Port Huron. This is somebody that grew up here and wanted to make sure that her community, I think they're thinking about the Great Lakes and everything, but it's a lot to this. It says the American 250 tour will feature like a Patriots Village, free for family hubs, and with a mobile American History Museum. They're going to highlight all of our area, and you know, we're now called Michigan Thumb Coast. I know it's a blue water area, and they can design it or promote it to take in all of our city, you know, and all the different sites that we have here. You know, just a chance for us all to come out. And I know this is going to take some engineering to put this together, and I don't even know if we can put it together. So I'm just putting it out there because it's too big for me or the city manager. This is about Port Huron and, you know, collectively getting everybody together around this. If you want it or if you don't want it, we have to see where it goes from here. But she just, even I asked her if she would come here and present at our city council so you will know, you know, just what's all involved. She just want to be able to just shine a light on the city of Port Huron.
Madam Mayor. I declined that offer. It was a sales pitch.
It was a sales pitch?
Yeah, you have to pay to have it done. They approach every city. They make you pay to produce videos. We get emails like that all the time. People want to showcase us some videos, but you got to buy in and pay in, and we don't have any budget right now.
Oh, you don't, our budget doesn't allow
No,
for this?
I believe I responded to that email as well, accordingly.
Oh, I don't know, I didn't see her email.
Yeah, I responded
okay.
back to her.
So I don't know, but we had someone else call and we'll disagree to agree, but I thought about the sale pitch kind of a thing, and she did say that she could come here and present herself, and so I just left it like that, because I wasn't just leery, but I think all this that is behind her and which she sent me, it doesn't look like a sales pitch. I know you're going to have some skin in the game, but it's not just the city that is going to be putting this on, it's going to be the whole city of Port Huron. So, but anyway, just put it out there. And then I also would like to thank our Station 4. This past week, we had a disaster happen at St. Clair Landing where it was flooded and they had to evacuate. And the city did a yeoman's job in being right there, and the people that run the place, they were just, I mean, they were awesome. They were awesome. They had the residents all in line, you know, taken care of, and making sure meds and everything. It was just like, it was senior friendly in Port Huron. People were bringing food and stuff like that and making sure they were all right. And that's what we need to see when we have disasters, that somebody will be there for us. So I just want to thank them for, you know, all their hard work, and especially Station 4, you know, responding to the scene, and the Community Foundation of St. Clair County. I think they had provided some funds for that, the emergency funding. So we all came together in a time that was needed. So, and another thing too, I know we had a long hot summer. I'm going to shut up too. A long hot summer, but we had some of everything going here in the city of Port Huron. I mean, all the giveaways, the groups, the nonprofits were just, I mean, they were just awesome. So we've been all over the place, going and making sure that, you know, we were there, you know, representing the city. So just want to thank everybody for all that you do and do for the city of Port Huron and each other. And so with that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
So moved.